Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Ramfall and I'm currently completing Internship 1. I'm doing both of my rotations this semester. So yeah, the first question is, what were your expectations prior to beginning your internship versus reality up until this point of your progress? Um, I would say that my expectations weren't really that big because I've never really done any volunteer work. So I wasn't really sure what to expect. But I can say that when I actually did go ahead and go to my internship for the first time, it was it was pretty crazy. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect, so I really was starting from scratch with internships. Um, but it was such an exciting experience because I was able to put myself in that mindset and kind of get a glimpse of what my future would look like as a rec therapist, which was really cool. Um, it was also a lot more hands-on than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little more observation, but I was surprised so far by how hands-on we are right now. Number two, how do you think working as a CTRS in a clinical setting compares to working in a community setting? Um, I did my first rotation at a community setting, and my second one that I'm doing right now is at a clinical setting. And I can say that the community setting, it seems a little more free. In a clinical setting, you have a lot more guidelines to follow because it is healthcare. Um, but in the community setting, you really have so much free reign, as long as it complies with, the rec therapy guidelines and safety rules. But that was the main difference that I noticed. Not to say that the clinical settings aren't fun, but they just they're a little more structured, I would say. Then again, the community setting, it was with a pediatric site, so it could also be that I did go to a place where there were more kids. That might be why I felt that it was more unstructured. Um, but despite that, like, I find that the two facilities had a lot of similarities, even though they were, clinical versus community. How many CTRSs work at your setting? In my first rotation, we only had one. She was a CTRS as well as a OT. And then at my rotation that I'm doing now, there is two. So one is the director of therapeutic programs, and then the other one works as part of the department. What is the biggest challenge you have faced so far, and how did you overcome it? Um, I think the biggest challenge was kind of putting myself out there and becoming, you know, a rec therapist. I'm trying to embody like what a professional would be, and I really haven't had to do that in this type of setting before. Um, so it's kind of different for me to come to these, healthcare settings and have everything be structured with guidelines and like have, certain aspects to of everything that you have to maintain. So that was the thing. The biggest challenge was kind of living up to the the expectations of each facility and making sure that I could do a good job without overstepping any boundaries or breaking any rules, guidelines, and as well as not putting anyone in like harm's way by accidentally doing something. Because even small things can, harm someone. Something small as giving them a piece of candy. If it's not authorized, then you can't do it. And that's like the biggest thing that I've been tackling, like, is to kind of discriminate what's allowed and what's not allowed. What is one technique you use to help juggle work, school, life? Um, I would say that whenever I feel like I'm getting too overwhelmed with something, I kind of step back and think about it. I'm just like, am I putting too much focus into this one thing? Is that why I feel stressed or overwhelmed? And most of the times, like, the answer is yes. So once I can kind of like see that, I realized that I kind of need to balance the other aspects of my life. Maybe I'm too heavily involved in work, then I don't have any time for school. Or if I'm too involved in school, then I don't see my family. And the rest of, do my rest of my daily activities like I should. So I try to kind of see it from an outside perspective to make sure that I'm not too heavily focused on just one thing. But yeah, I think that is the way that I can kind of keep everything in check without going too in depth with one thing over the other things. Is your ultimate career goal to be a rec therapist? If not, how do you see yourself using RT in your future career? So my ultimate goal is not to be a recreational therapist. I actually would like to apply for my master's degree and be an occupational therapist. But I feel like recreational therapy is a great tie-in for what I want my future career to be. They actually share a lot of similar concepts, and leisure is a big part of occupational therapy, like the occupational therapy model. So recreational therapy, I feel, can benefit me a lot because once I understand these concepts, I can not only apply them to my future career as an OT, but also kind of use the rec therapy ideas to think out of the box and kind of be like an untraditional OT, which is what my goal is. Number 7. What is your favorite population you have worked with so far and why? I did my first rotation with the pediatric population, and my second one is with geriatrics. And I like them both equally, to be honest. I think they both are very different, but also kind of the same. I was surprised when I was working with the pediatric population by how independent they were. And with the geriatric population, I was also surprised by like how young at heart they were. So they really, like, despite having some, cognitive or mental impairment or physical impairments, they really want to enjoy they want to enjoy life and have happiness and find that and just be able to participate in daily activities. And when they do that, they kind of find like joy in little things, and it's almost when you look at their face like they're like a little kid again. So it was kind of funny to see that in the geriatric population and then kind of compare that to the pediatric population and realize that they're actually not so far off. So that was kind of cool. I think they're more similar than they are different, to be honest. So yeah. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you guys have a great semester. Bye!